In last week's episode, we celebrated Mother's Day in Algana. Then we set off to Coco Bandero Keys and arrived in paradise.
I tried to bake a bread yesterday with some new flour and didn't work out very well, as you can see.
It's like a brick.
Yeah, we can build a house instead, maybe.
So we have a bit of a situation going on. There's a Danish boat that is being towed by another sailboat. They're on their way in here to Coco Banderos, and Johan and Anders and Katarina from Capemore. They are standby in the dinghies out here to assist and help them to get in between the reefs and to drop anchor. The captain Kenneth had got in contact with Capemore through his wife that was home in Denmark. Navigating around the reef.
The dinghy is going to show us where we can put the anchor.
Yes, I think so.
He was going to sail from Panama to Colombia, but there was no wind in the beginning, and after a couple of days he got problems with the engine. He decided to sail back to Cologne where he started from, but there was still no wind, and he spent 3 days more or less drifting out at sea. And when he began getting closer and closer to the reefs, he started to look for help. Steady while he's preparing to drop the anchor. Johan is pushing in the back, in the stern.
Yeah, everything went well. Kenneth and Felicia, as the boat is called, is anchored over there now. And I think he's going to sleep now because he's been hand steering for, I don't know, 30 hours straight or something. So he had this engine problem. The glass bowl for the diesel filter, it cracked. And yeah, he had no things to fix it with, so he had no engine. And so he tried to sail, but this night the wind died totally and there was a current inwards towards the reef at 3 knots. So he was drifting towards shore, and yeah, when he realized that he's not going to make it, he tried to call people on the beachhead, other sailboats in here, but unfortunately nobody was listening. But after a while he got hold of a freight ship, and they saw another boat on the AIS far away. So they called that sailboat and asked them if they could help him out with a tow in here. So they did, so they are also anchored over there right now. So
were they on their way here or away from Panama?
I think they were on the way to Cologne. It's
okay,
a delivery,
so in Panama.
they just delivered that boat somewhere. So they didn't have the charts for this area. So he had to, you know, over the radio, okay, you have to go this and this way because there's a reef, and so they didn't have any charts at all over this area. So it was a bit tricky, I think, but
Our neighbors had checked the weather, and it didn't look good. One of the weather models forecasted 50 knots of wind during the night and the next day, so we decided to move to a more sheltered anchorage. They're passing by us, you are.
yeah, but we're not competing, not with this engine at the moment. So in the end, everybody's leaving. Everybody's heading in for a safer anchorage. So it's a line of boats here now on the AIS.
This is the first time I see these many boats following each other on one line. Very funny.
For the same purpose.
For the same purpose. We're 6 boats in total. Kenneth got the needed part for the engine from Karlsson, and they got it fixed so he could move again. We had dinner together in the evening, and Kenneth told us more about his days at sea. Navigating out between the 2 reefs, away from Nargana, and we just spent the night because we were awaiting this storm or bad weather that was forecasted, up to 50 knots, but we had no wind at all. Very, very light wind and no bad weather at all. So but it was good that we went here because we could buy some more groceries, vegetables, a little bit of fruit. We didn't have anything left, and now we are heading to, I think, a new island and a new anchorage, and I think we have decided to go to Green Island, which is very close. It's just out here. It's supposed to be a nice anchorage. It's also infamous because there is a crocodile living there, and there was a woman. She got attacked by this crocodile this spring. She was snorkeling around the boat, swimming around the boat with her mask, and she got bitten. He attacked her, bite her hip and in the face, but luckily she had the mask, so he couldn't rip off the whole face, but she got badly injured. They took her here to Nargana, and where a helicopter took her to Panama City, but she survived. So it's not a nice crocodile, seems aggressive. So we'll see. Guess there won't be too much swimming over there. I can see the reef so clearly with my polarized sunglasses. Such a big difference. It's really shallow. I saw a boat earlier this morning. I think they want to take a shortcut out from the entrance here, and they just went straight out on the reef. Luckily not too bad, because I could see them going in reverse and then they continued after a while. You really have to take care here. There are so many reefs and shallows.
You tend to be a bit lazy from all of this motoring we've been doing because of the weak winds. Today we have 8 knots of wind, but it's headwinds, and not very strong, 8 knots. So I mean, of course we could have sailed, but it's only 3 miles. So you tend to, and that's pretty normal around here. You move 3 or 4 miles, new anchorage. Even if the winds are weak and you have them against you, it's so easy to just start the engine and just motor over there, which is, I think it's a bit lazy, but I guess we are that sometimes. And also the navigation is kind of tricky here, so of course it's easier just going by motor when you're going between the reefs and stuff like that. If you need to tack going upwind, it's a bit harder when it's tight between the shallow parts. So. But I hope there will be more sailing when we come up. Because when we come out to the Hollandaise Keys, I think it's a bit more open water, so then a bit further out from land. So then maybe the winds will pick up a bit more. So I guess it will be a bit more sailing out there.
Watermelon.
It's not very easy to come by fruit here in the San Blas. Vegetables is okay, but fruit is not very common.
4 nautical miles southwest of Nargana lays Green Island. It's become a popular anchorage among cruisers in the last couple of years. The little island Vaisaldup is so tiny, but still full of palm trees. The island had a small house and a couple of wooden benches. Vill du bo här?
Ja.
Bo på denna lilla ön? So this one has just fallen in the water. It still has the coconuts left. So one of the effects of climate change and the rising sea levels.
So I guess this island won't be here in 10 years from now. This will just be a reef, probably. That's a bit sad. A lot of the islands here in the Blas, they are, because of the rising sea levels, the Guna Yalas, they have been forced to leave some of the villages on some of the islands here because the water level is getting too high. And a lot of these smaller islands, they actually disappear altogether. You can actually see it in our cruising guide, the Bauhaus guide, that I don't know how old it is, maybe 10, 15 years, something like that. Some of the photos, you can really tell from the photos that the beaches are a lot wider than in reality now.
It's a really nice anchorage here on Green Island. We haven't seen the crocodile so far. We've actually been swimming. Vem vann?
Du vann. Men det är till trä som gäller.
Okej, kör vi en gång till.
Okay. So this is the plan for today, this island. We are at the moment here at Green Island, and yeah, as you can see, it's not very far. It's 4 or 5 miles between here. The wind today is coming from yeah, this direction, so we should have a broad reach, I think.
It was such a relaxing sail, and we enjoyed it to the fullest. Counting the islands we sailed by, and feeling how Ron was gliding through the water. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to our patrons for all of your support. Make sure to subscribe to not miss out on any video, and we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Hope to see you next week. Bye!